Terraforming Mars. This is your review for 2. Good day, my name is Joe Gerba. Today I'll be going over Terraforming Mars and how it plays with 2 players. Now Terraforming Mars is a 1 to 5 player game where you'll be collecting cards, playing cards, gaining resources, using your money, all to increase the terraform rating. Now at the end of the game, the person with the highest terraform rating, plus any victory points they may score with cards or on the board, will win the game. Let's see a little bit more how to play. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to get a corporation. Now this corporation will drive you a little bit in a certain direction, but it doesn't mean you have to stay on the direction. It just gives you a little bit of boost, in the certain direction. Some may help with the forestry tiles, some may help with the cities, and that's all to kind of give you a boost in a certain direction to make each kind of player a little bit unique at the beginning. Now, another thing is each player will get 10 cards at the beginning, and what's interesting about this game is for each card you want to keep, it'll cost you money. It'll cost you, say, 3 money. So you have to decide, is it worth keeping a whole bunch of cards and spending that money, or just keeping a select few so you can play the cards? Because all these cards will cost, a set amount of currency. Now, as you go through the game, you'll be mainly working on your board and mainly, working on your cards. On your board, it kind of tracks how many resources of each you have. It may be steel, maybe titanium. And on the board, it shows you how much production you get and actually how many of the resources you have. You can use these resources to pay for cards, to do some different terraforming, such as play greenery tiles. You'll be able to use money to play oceans, money to play cities. So your board is kind of your currency, how much you're getting per turn. This is a nice engine building game. So some of these cards are permanent as far as they give you something per turn that you can do. Some of these cards are one-time plays with events. And it's really interesting what you do on your board. Now, what makes this game kind of fun and engaging is you have your board, you have all your cards, and then you have a shared kind of Terraforming Mars esque board in the middle. You'll both be changing the landscape, putting cities down, putting greenery down, putting oceans, all while increasing your terraforming rating, which is money every turn, and victory points. So you definitely want to do that. Increasing the temperature, all these different ways, all these different interactions. There's just a ton of things on the board. And as you go through this game, as soon as all 9 oceans are placed on the board, as soon as the oxygen is at maximum, and as soon as the temperature is at maximum, then you have one more turn to play some greenery tiles and the game is over. I know that sounded like a lot, and it is, but as you get going, as you roll, it starts you out kind of slow. This is a really, really neat game. So let's go into a little bit of what I think about the game. Let's talk a little bit about the components. When you open the box, you really won't be very overwhelmed. There's not a whole lot to it. You'll actually think why they need such a big box for what they give you. But there's a ton of cards, there's a ton of cubes, and the punch outs. And as you play the game, you realize that there may be a lot of airspace in the box, but this game is very expansive and it's pretty neat. Let's go on to the rules. The rules were, a little bit tough at the beginning, but once you got rolling, really wasn't bad. I'd put this at a pretty medium weight game. There's references everywhere. The cards are very well explained, which I love. I love when you don't have to go back to the rule book for certain rules. The only one that we really have to go look at every once in a while, but once you play, are these milestones and awards, kind of end game scoring. Just need to know what they are. But the cards are self-explanatory. They give you a great 4-card little reference sheet for both players, and it's a fantastic, easy to get back to the table game. And that's what I really enjoy about some of these games, where if I haven't played for a year, can I get this back to the table quickly and easily? And for this one, that's a definite yes. Now the setup for this game will take you a little while because there are so many cards. You have to shuffle the cards because you definitely want these to be good and well mixed up. The basic setup really isn't that bad for 2 players, but there's a lot of cards. I sleeved all mine, but it bloats the stack quite a bit. Now for the setup and the actual table size itself, it's a larger game. On a 3x3 table, you'll be a little bit tight for space. It'll be doable, especially it depends how people organize their cards, but it's going to be tight. Here I'm showing you a picture right now of our table. Like I said, it's a 3x6, and it's taking up a good portion of it. Let's talk about the gameplay a little bit. And this is where this game really shines. Some of the artwork on the cards may not be the best, but that doesn't matter on this game, because as you're playing, you actually feel like you're terraforming Mars, as you're terraforming Mars together with other people. The interaction on the board is great. It's you got area control over here, tableau building, engine building over here, which means you may have cards that give you something every turn that you have to play, or you can do, and they can play on each other. You may put a microbe on one card, and another card takes a microbe, but the card that takes it gets a little bit more victory points. So, in engine building, how are you going to flow your area? Or do you have a lot of titanium production? Well, that can help on certain cards, where the other person may have more steel production, and it may help on their cards. It's a great flow to the game. You really feel like your resources are flowing in and out. You feel like every card you play matters. It makes you want to, all these cards almost make you want to keep them all, but remember you can't, because it'll cost you three money per card you keep. What I also like about this game, and I really think with 2 players and with any player count except for 1, because you can't, is the drafting. I really think you should draft. You get your 10 cards at the beginning, which aren't drafted, but then each turn you'll get a set of 4 more cards. You each look at both of those 4, or all of those 4, pick one, pass the other 3. And that's what really makes this game interesting, is you can take cards that your opponent needs, and you can take cards that'll help you. So it's more decisions. And like I said in most of my reviews, what makes a great 2-player game is how many decisions do I have to make, and how many choices do I have. Whether they're optimal or not, how many different choices, different routes can I take? And in this game, there's just a ton. And I like that about this game. You really have a money constraint, because you want to play all your cards. You want to do all these standard projects. You want to increase your terraforming rating. Well, you can't, because you don't have that engine building yet. But by the end of the game, you're playing a ton of cards. Everything's happening so fast because you actually have a money mechanic. You've been building your cities out here. Your heat production's good. You're raising that temperature, increasing your terraforming rating. This game is just a lot of fun. There's a lot to it, and it kind of eases you into it slow, which is good for beginners, and it's nice and easy to teach. The difficulty in this game is probably medium. If somebody's never played a board game, they will be overwhelmed. But for someone who is a little bit more savvy, easy to teach. A little bit of luck versus strategy. You have some luck in what card you're drawing, but the strategy can easily, your own strategy can mitigate that luck. Yeah, you may not get quite the card you're looking for, but if you're searching for that one card that's going to make your strategy, make your base a little bit better, well, then you probably didn't do something right along the way, because there's so many choices that there's always something to be done. The playtime for 2, we get our games to about 2 hours. You can get 90 minutes if you're really fast and know everything. It'll take you 3 hours for maybe the first time you get it back to the table in a while. But those 2 hours are just a lot of fun. You don't want to put it down. And it's just, that's when you got a good game. One that you just want to keep on going, keep on chugging, looking for what cards you're going to get next turn, deciding what cards you're going to play. It's a great 2-hour game for sure. So is this game good for 2? My short answer is yes. Some people love this game with 3. I like it with 3 as well. But for 2, it's still, you get everything in it. You don't lose anything with 2, minus a little bit of, when you draft, you really may have to look at the other people. But for 2 players, you still get to do your own board. You still have conflict in the middle. There's no getting about and getting around other players. You're increasing these. You're really trying to optimize, everything in this game. And for 2, it's a wonderful game. Like I said, 3 may be the best number, but 2 is a fantastic game. I would recommend this in any board gaming collection. Like I said, I think it's just a staple. It's one of those games, once you play, you'll never forget it. Easy to get back to the table, fun, engaging. Like I said, you got area control, you got engine building, you got resource management, you got points at the end, you got choices, you got decisions. In this game, I think there is everything you could ask for in a board game. This game is just about as near to perfect as you can get to a game. I highly recommend this with 2. I think it's slightly better with 3, if it can even get any better with 3. But this game is fantastic with 2, and I love the game. It's a great game. So that was Terraforming Mars, and until next time.